Of all the games I used to play in my younger, wilder days, the game of clubs and tees had never crossed my mind. But after some discussion with my close...
Welcome in to the first episode of the Turn Fantasy Golf podcast of the 2020-21 golf season. We didn't have much of a break, folks. Actually, it's the shortest week so far since the reboot. If you listen to us on YouTube, you heard a new intro song. It's my buddy Daryl Van Zant, lives in Nashville. There'll be a link in the show notes how to hear more of his music. But more importantly, this is the Turn Fantasy Golf podcast brought to you by Rotoballer.com. And I'm here with my partner, Joe Nicely, to shed us a little bit what we got going on for Rotoballer.com for the future. What we got going on, Joe?
Yeah, man, really excited about our PGA product over there. We're going through the Masters with your subscription, so we'll take you into basically the end of November. With the sign up over there, you can go use promo code NICE, N-I-C-E, to get a discount on our premium product. Got lots of great stuff over there. Spencer and Josh, Tommy Bell, all those guys dropping great premium articles. We also have lots of free stuff. So we urge you to go check that out as well. But yeah, just go to rotoballer.com. Got football coming up. Tons of great stuff over there, NFL, baseball, basketball. They do it all, man. PGA is just a small part of that great site. So definitely go check Rotoballer out.
That's right. Rotoballer.com, folks. Once again, promo code NICE, N-I-C-E. Big weekend for the pod last weekend. Big weekend. We get to keep the championship belt well within our grasp. Labor Day Scramble at #TheBrook. Knoxville, Tennessee took them down. What do you think, buddy?
Back to back. Was there ever any doubt? Maples, Nicely, the Poors, and new young addition to the team, Mr. Anthony Basilio, played great. Great kid, excellent golfer. Took it down, man. Dropped a little 54 on him.
Dropped a little 54.
That's how we do it over there.
Strong start, strong finish, week in between. We started on hole 4. I think through 6 holes, we were 7 under. Then we pumped the brakes for a few holes. Then we got right back at it. 16 under. Those are asking about the shot that Joe posted with me hitting on top of my sweet teacup. Did not make it on the green. Flew it over the green in the woods. So
it's all about the showmanship, though, baby. You brought it all day. So we had a good one in place, so we had to take a shot with that.
That's right. That's right. So last weekend on the golf side, though, DJ did what we thought he probably would do. Started with the lead, never looked back. A couple of guys, Xander and JT, who have probably been the two most consistent golfers over the season, other than DJ, been dominant. Gave him a little bit of fits there, or I guess got as close as we thought anybody could. What do you think about the tournament overall, Joe?
It was good, man. As you know, I'm a DJ fan, so it was cool to see him win a FedEx Cup. The guy's already headed for the Hall of Fame, but just another great notch he can kind of add on to his belt. He's played great golf. I would love to see him get a major coming up this fall. We got the U.S. Open coming up next week, and he should certainly be a big factor there at Winged Foot. So, yeah, man, just really cool. Still a lot of complaining about the format, and I think that's something they'll continue to tweak, but I don't know that we're ever going to have anything perfect for what they're trying to do. I think they're doing the best they can as far as with the staggered start. But, yeah, DJ started with the lead and never really looked back. Pretty well in control of the tournament the whole way, and really cool to see him win the FedEx Cup.
Yeah, I mean, maybe we all really, really didn't like it at the beginning when they started putting the shots on in the beginning, but really they're just trying to somehow crown an overall champion, not just for this tournament. So maybe this tournament victory really isn't well accepted, in my opinion, but as far as crowning an overall FedEx Cup champion, I understand they've got to somehow simulate that into 4 days, and that's the only way they can come out. So I don't know. I mean, used to the way the old system was, 10 people would tee off and with a chance by round 2, only 3 people. And I mean, there was years where like only 2 people had a chance to win. So that's the only way they can do it.
Yeah, we've seen in the past some really kind of anticlimactic weeks, and I think that's what they're wanting to get away from, as well as wanting to simplify it. Make the Tour Championship winner the FedEx Cup winner, which is what they've tried to do and what they went with the last couple of years. We've seen years where it's just, it's no fun. Somebody's got the FedEx Cup locked up. The guys are out there playing for the Tour Championship title, but it kind of makes it anticlimactic because they can't win the FedEx Cup. So it's just kind of a tough spot the PGA Tour's in. They want to create this kind of playoff atmosphere, which I thought the events leading up to the Tour Championship this year were great. So I have no problem at all with how that's done. But, you're going to have some detractors on the way the Tour Championship sets up now. When you've got guys starting with, shot advantages. But overall, I think it's fun. It's good to see DJ win. Good to see a lot of great players. East Lake's a tough golf course. It's fun to watch. So yeah, man, it's just one of those things.
Yeah, everybody was kind of hoping that Ron would give him a shot. DJ just when he's on his game is tough.
Yeah.
This course really did set up for really Xander and JT's getting better. The more of fairways and greens. Rom seems to, whenever he plays well, he overpowers places. And that's not really an easy golf course to do that. So like I said, short turnaround. Tuesday, they get done last night at 7:00 p.m. Eastern. We're going to go out west 3 days later, or let's see, 24, basically 55 hours later, they're teeing off in the Napa Valley at the Safeway Open. I understand they had to do it. This wasn't ideal, but it was something that had to be done with the COVID. So let's just go ahead and give you the stats for coming up next week. Safeway Open, established in 2007. The golf course is played, or the tournament is played at Silverado Resort and Spa on the north course of the country club. Founded in 1955, or designed in 1955 by Robert Trent Jones, the great designer. Purchased in 2010 by Johnny Miller, which he did a revamp in 2011. Par 72, 71.66. From what you know about this place, Joe, where are you seeing it?
Looking for ball strikers. It's not an easy course, not a birdie fest by any means. I think Cam Champ won last year at 18 under. But we've generally seen 15 under around in that area be good enough to win here. Really kind of interesting mix of former winners. Like I said, Champ, obviously a bomber, won last year. Brendan Steele's won this a couple times. A great ball striker, great off the tee. Emiliano Grillo, Kevin Tway, just some kind of random names. And that also kind of reflects the strength of the field most years. This year especially, the field's tough, man. We're going to dive into the slate, but of the 30 guys that were in the Tour Championship last week, 0 will be here this week. We do have the U.S. Open coming up next week, so I'm sure being sandwiched between the Tour Championship and the U.S. Open didn't do the tournament any favors. But yeah, man, we're looking for guys that are good off the tee. Length's obviously always helpful, but it's not a must. Even though we saw Cam Champ win last year. But yeah, I want guys that are good off the tee, really good iron players. That's what I'm looking for. On polar greens this week, which gives some guys trouble. Might want to take a look at that. The putting splits for guys on Pola. But other than that, man, there's nothing exceptional about this golf course. It's really beautiful location out there. Johnny Miller did some great work on it, and it actually presents these guys with a challenge. So it's despite the field, despite kind of the quick turnaround from the Tour Championship and the U.S. Open next week, we've got PGA DFS, man. So let's jump to it.
That's right. Let's just right off the bat, let's knock out the first past champs.
The shocking top of the salary scale.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say the past champions in the field: Kevin Tway, 4 past champions in the field. Kevin Tway, Brendan Steele twice, 2-time winner. Emilio Grillo and Sang Moon Bay. That's all we have as far as past champions in the field. As you said, Cam Champ, defending champ, decided not to play. But what you said just then, before I got into that, top of the salary for DK in DraftKings. Let's go. We had Matt Kuchar third overall. He is officially out of the field, withdrawal. So we got Siwoo Kim, Philly Mick at 50 years old, Shane Lowry, and Brendan Steele, all at 10,000 plus. Wow.
Yeah. That's about all you can say, man, is wow. I was pretty shocked when I got my first glance at the pricing. Didn't think that I would see Siwoo Kim and Phil Mickelson at the top of any salary scales anytime soon, but here we are. And I guess they got to put somebody up there, right? So looks like Siwoo and Phil are kind of the Vegas favorites from what I've been looking at. So Phil's obviously got great course history and a terrific pedigree, most well-known player in this field. And Siwoo's been in really good form, has won some big tournaments in his career. So, I guess that's how those guys are there. You can understand Lowry being a former major winner, being up there. He's been in okay form. And then Steele's a two-time winner here. So kind of gets the course history nod as far as that goes. But yeah, man, it's it's really interesting this week when you start trying to build rosters and some of these names you're coming across at some of these prices. I don't know that I'll be going above 10. If I were, would maybe start with Steele right at 10. Feels like the most reasonable fit as far as his course history, and he has been in good form lately. Played well. We've talked about him on the show in a couple spots, but we're used to seeing him down there high sixes, low sevens, man. And he's looking, like a decent play at 10 this week. So that just reflects the lack of strength in this field and kind of what we're going to be dealing with as we go on down the scale. You think you can get there with any of those guys up there this week?
I mean, I'm not a Shane Lowry fan ever. So the only person out of this group I actually play on a regular basis and is Brendan Steele, and that's because he's usually in the sixes and he can play well on really hard golf courses. But at 10,000, I'm fading them all. 10,000 higher, I'm fading them all. And I'm starting my lineups with the two next guys, two guys that you love to hate, Jordan Spieth and Sergio Garcia.
Oh, man.
98, 99 respectively. Neither one of them has ever played this tournament. Here we go. Let's go. 2021, let's go.
You're just going to fire the old boys up, huh? Andrew's back on the wagon.
Hey, new year, new list, Joe. New year, new list.
You might get a new one started pretty quick if you're going to start with Sergio and Spieth. But, hey, man, maybe it's the way to go. Those guys, former major champions, certainly have a better pedigree than the large majority of this field. So, I mean, I feel you as far as, it's names we know their games, we're familiar with them. So, yeah, I mean, and with what's above them, you don't really want to go there. So, I mean, I feel where you're coming from. I think a lot of people will probably feel the same way. But I don't know that I'll get there myself with those two. You know how the history is. But like you said, new season, new list. So, fire away, big boy.
Hey, Joe, listen. If you're over here on the right, you're going to put Sergio and Sergio and Spieth on your team, okay? Now you're going to line them up against Joe Damon and Ches Reavie, who have arguably had this field, maybe other than Doc Redman or Harold Varner, the best season in this field coming off the COVID break. I'm still taking Sergio and Jordan Spieth in every tournament.
Yeah, I mean, it's an understandable line to take, man. It really is. And we're just going to be making some tough decisions this week. I don't think I've just kind of been toying around with lineup construction. I don't think I've made one lineup yet that I feel extremely confident about, and that's just probably going to be the case this week. We're not going to be super comfortable with a lot of these guys. The prices we're being forced to pay by nature, less quality players are more inconsistent. So, it's going to be a little bit of a roller coaster type of week. It's a week to take some chances if you want to do that. So, man, I totally feel you going with Sergio and Spieth. Damon, I do think you have to look at. He's not played well at this course, but had some really strong finishes since the restart. They're at 9,500. Certainly kind of saves you from going all the way over 10 with some of those guys. And then you drop down there, you kind of touched on them. The guys I really like the most at the top of the board, and probably where I'll be starting most of my lineups there, are Doc Redmond, who is a great ball striker at 92, and Harold Warner, who's played some really, really solid golf at 9,100. Has good course history here, has played well on this course before. And on a week where there's a lot of risk out there and kind of a lot of uncomfortability, you almost kind of feel comfortable there with HB3 at 9,100, as crazy as it sounds. But I'll probably be starting a lot of lineups there.
Yeah, that is crazy to think that you're starting your lineups in the low nines. Man, it's just hard to look at this field. Norlander broke my heart last tournament he played. There's so many guys that I feel like I'm just going to go on the veteran side of thought here.
Right.
I think when you sit now, I understand the young guys are hungry and they're going after it. And surely if there's 144 players in the field, 10 of them are going to light it up. Right. So you can't really lay all your baskets on the vet mindset, but you got to think like a Jim Furyk or a Stuart Sink or even a Jordan Spieth or heck, even Jimmy Walker or Charles Schwartzel. Those guys are bound to have a top 10 or top 5 in this event. That's just my mind, just kind of what I'm seeing. Now, like I said, the younger guys are hungrier and are going at every pin, but
there's something to be said, for kind of some veteran experience this week. In this type of field, especially in this type of event where a lot of guys hadn't played in a while. Like I said, none of the guys played last week. A few of them played 2 weeks ago, but a lot of them, their season ended, they're at the Northern Trust or the Wyndham. So, there's a lot of unknowns going into this week. I know you like the veteran guys and experienced guys. I kind of trend a little bit more to the youthful guys. I like to try to jump on those guys early. One guy I really like at 8,900 is Cameron Davis, a young man out of Australia who's played really, really well since the restart. He's coming in really good form. Kind of has some of the qualities we're looking for. Really good off the tee, long off the tee, good ball striker, can score on par fives. So I really do like Cameron Davis at 89. And then you drop down to 81 is kind of a guy that's in the middle. He's not really a young guy or an older veteran, Mark Hubbard, there at 81, who's been really consistent. Has made every cut since the restart. Every time he's teed it up, had some pretty good finishes. So course history here. So those are probably my two favorites in the eights would be Davis and Hubbard. Who are you looking at as we get down in the sevens? You leaning more veteran down there, guys like Furyk?
Well, I think you have to have a little Furyk splash because he loves the grind. It's crazy to me that you're getting Furyk for 2,300 less than Mickelson or whatever it is, 2,900 less than Mickelson. That's insane to me.
You got your boy Glover there at 8.
Never.
Since you're starting a new list.
No, I'm gonna give it a few weeks before we get the ink raced on him. I feel like I'm in good fields. I'm gonna be on Will Gordon, so I gotta be on him a little bit.
He's explosive. I kind of looked at him and thought the same thing. We've rostered him a couple times. Hadn't had quite the success we thought he would. After that big outing, I think it was at the Travelers.
Mm-hmm.
We hopped right back on him the next week at the Rocket, and it didn't go well. I kind of go all the way down to the mid sevens there. There's a couple guys that I like. We've talked about him before on this show, and this is kind of the type of course where I like to play him is Patrick Rogers. Hits it long, can score on the par fives, excellent POA putter. We've seen him play really good on the West Coast on POA. Never great statistically, but I kind of like his game on this type of layout. So Rogers is a guy I'll go to, and another guy there at 75 is Cameron Tringali. Hasn't played a whole lot, but when he's played, he's looked good, had some strong outings. So course history, he always makes the cut here. Just generally doesn't get up there and kind of the high end finish. but this is going to be a weaker field than he's normally playing against in the Safeway. So those are two guys that really stick out for me in the mid-sevens, Rogers and Tringali.
Yeah, only person I would throw in the sevens in there that you didn't mention maybe is when you get a little bit lower. I like Troy Merritt. He hits it far enough. If he can hit his irons going at all, he puts it great. Wesley Bryan, he's too inconsistent for me.
I like Brian. I like his iron play. He's been really good when he's played. He's just not played much, man.
Yeah.
I think he's on like an injury exemption status or something like that. He's coming off a really major shoulder injury. He's just not getting to play a lot.
Yeah.
But his irons have been fire when he's teed it up. So, we know he's not super long, but we've seen guys that are both long and short play well here. So if he's got his irons going, I think that's going to be the most important thing. But yeah, I really like Brian down there. And also kind of a sicko play is Luke List, whose ball striking is just so good in this caliber of field. Being at 7,400, we know that he's an exceptional ball striker and a horrible putter. But in this type of field, I think it's one of those weeks where you could maybe take a chance with Luke List there at 74.
Yeah, maybe after I start looking at this a little bit closer, I might be on the West Bryan train. I mean, all the other guys are.
It's kind of one of those weeks like, what have you got to lose, man? If there's a guy that you like, that you feel strongly about, which I'm not saying that's West Bryan for you, but whoever your player may be that you come across and you really feel good about, fire him up this week, man, because there's just not a lot of consistency. There's not any safe plays on this board really when we start digging into it, outside of maybe a handful of guys. There's just not a lot of safety, so it's really a great week to just kind of try to find some guys you like for whatever reason it may be, and just fire them up and ride them.
Well, here's a question then: how is my man Stallings 6,900 in this field?
That's a good question. We've seen him play well out west, right? I mean, he puts good on POA, really good ball striker. The recent form hasn't been tremendous. We saw him play some good golf since the restart, but kind of tailed off a little bit there. But yeah, man, he does feel cheap in this caliber of field. And another guy we've talked about, Spencer's boy, that we've talked about on this show, Adam Shank, there at 68, is interesting to me. He had a T14 in this event a couple of years ago, and you look at his numbers, man, they're pretty solid. He's been playing good golf, had some good results. So, there's a couple guys, a couple directions you could go, maybe under 7 if you need to this week.
Yeah. Did we ever find out what the reasoning behind the withdrawal for JB Holmes was at the workday?
Man, I don't know. I try not to even think about JB much.
I mean,
that dude is just, he is so frustrating. He's frustrating to play in DFS. He's frustrating to try to watch play. He's a Kentucky guy, man, and I'm sure he's a great dude and everything, but I'm just out of the JB rotation, so I have no clue what happened with him at the workday.
I got you. I got you, Joe. Calm down.
New season, baby. New season.
New season. The taste is yet out of his mouth, however.
Starting a new list. I like that. I like that thought.
Yeah, new season, new list, baby. What about Tom Hogue, 6,900? He bombs it.
Yeah, he's a fine play in this type of field. You could actually argue he's maybe a little underpriced, really, for some of the results he's put up. Seems to kind of pop for a round or two, though, and then fade. Seems like he has a tendency to do that. Not super consistent through 4 rounds, but certainly a guy that can go out there and shoot a low number. We've seen him do it. So, yeah, man, I mean, you can go there. Like I said this week, you can kind of feel freed up to make some plays just because there's not a lot of safety on the board. So, a guy like Hoagie is a guy we know can go out there and drop some low scores for a couple of rounds. So definitely somebody you can look at down there.
So who's your this is going to be kind of a quick show for us tonight because we just don't know. So who's your guy?
The field is gross.
Yeah, who's your guy? Who's your guy?
Guys we kind of already touched on, really. I would say West Bryan at 71, Shank down there at 68, and maybe List. Maybe those three guys. And definitely aren't guys we're playing every week, but guys that I would feel fine rolling with this week. Who you going with? We always love to get your guy. Who is it this week?
I'm gonna have to say. I love Stallings at 6,900. I mean, he should be 8,000 in this field. So that's where I gotta say somebody that's gonna get overlooked, who seems to play golf well a lot, is Kevin Strillman. I don't know if I'm gonna be on him or not, but he's overlooked. He's gonna be overlooked, I feel like, at 9,000. I guess I could hang my hat on Stallings. I'm tempted to throw a little JB Holmes at him just because nobody is.
Right.
Stallings at 6,900 is way underpriced, in my opinion. 3 times.
Yeah, I agree. I think I don't know about 8, but I'm with you, man. I think he could be in the mid 7s, and we really wouldn't bat an eye at it this week. So it's probably some value there for us. Maybe let us get an extra an extra 9K guy in there this week, if we throw a guy like Stallings in our roster. So I like it, man. We'll roll with it. East Tennessee boy, so we'll roll with him this week.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pulling for Will Gordon because I feel like he's just a stud waiting to happen. I think he's got more game than Doc Redmond, but he's got a lot more tools anyway in the belt. Doc Redmond just hits it so solid.
Yeah, I like the 4 par 5 angle with Gordon this week. He's gonna get to fire away at 4 par 5s every round. So there's a chance that we could see him kind of, when guys like Gordon at the Travelers, when they have that big finish and they get special exemptions and get their tour cards and stuff like that. I mean, I guess there's naturally going to be a little bit of letdown sometimes. So maybe we were expecting a little bit too much of him to just take off. Not everybody's a Morikawa or a Hovland or a Wolf. And we've seen those guys to a certain extent have a couple of down weeks. So maybe, he's kind of had a chance to regroup, refocus, new season, new mindset. So, it might be a good spot for Gordon to break out this week.
Yeah, I agree. I hope so. Anyway, I probably have a lot of him. We didn't touch on him just for a second. Spieth hasn't played here much. I'll be on him. That's all I got, Joe, for this week. We'll have more for you next week, folks. Big time next week.
We're gonna get through this one and immediately start looking at Winged Foot in the U.S. Open for next week. So I mean, that's what all the elite players are doing. It's kind of what a lot of golf fans are doing, what a lot of DFS players are doing. We certainly don't want to shortchange on the Safeway. And I think there's some good plays out there, and you can make some rosters that you feel okay about, but there's just going to be some uncomfortability when you're building rosters this week with these guys.
That's right, folks. You have listened to the Fantasy Golf Podcast. My name is Andrew Putters. This is Joe Nicely. We got something special coming to you right after this. It'll be our next episode. We're going to have a little thing called the Sunday Stroll Edition. We're going to talk a little NFL, so stay tuned for our next episode. That's what it's going to be on the NFL. Like I said, Andrew Putters, Joe Nicely signing out. See y'all.